Hello everyone and welcome to our live stream today. It's going to be really exciting. I have an amazing guest, Gwen, who's going to talk us through how to get started with Vue 3. So Gwen, please give yourself an introduction and tell us all about all the awesome things you do. And while you do that, I'm going to put your YouTube link in the chat so everyone can go subscribe to your channel as well.
Awesome. Thanks, Eddie. Yeah, I'm happy to be here today. So my name is Gwen. I'm a professional software developer, and my career has lasted about 5 years now since I got my first software development job after teaching myself how to code. And since then, I've worked in a variety of different languages and tools for different companies, but mainly my career has focused on JavaScript and Python work. So I've done recently, in the last few years, I've done a lot of Vue.js work. I'm really excited about some of the innovations of the framework. And so I'm happy to come on today and talk about Vue.js in general, and then also some of the updates in Vue 3, as well as build an application together with Eddie, kind of live build and see how it goes.
Awesome. I'm really excited. We had Debbie doing Nuxt.js, which we touched on ever so slightly on Vue. So it really kind of got me really excited about it. And so now I want to dig further because then I can use Vue and Nuxt on some more projects. So yeah, super excited to get started. So shall we talk about what are we going to build today? So we're going to build user list, I think, with some data from GitHub. Is that the plan?
Yes. So you already had an older application built in other technologies. So we're going to build a new Vue application using the GitHub API that will be kind of a stepping point to do more things with in the future.
Sounds perfect. Right, let me share my screen and we can have a look. Oh, and Debbie's in the chat as well. Hey, Debbie, how you doing?
Oh, hi, Debbie.
Such a small
I,
world.
yeah, I watched the next video. It was really good.
It was so much fun. I got so much great positive feedback from that. So everyone watching, also go check out the previous video afterwards I did with Debbie. And now Debbie has started a YouTube channel since that live stream. So I'm really excited. Go have a
Oh,
look at
yeah, that's right. I saw that.
her channel too. Right, let me share my screen and let's get started. Okay.
Okay.
So what we have at the moment is just, if I go to the file structure, we have a README with not much in it and a user.json and nothing else. And I have installed the Vue CLI as instructed by Gwen. So hopefully I'm in a good place.
Yes. That's pretty much all we need to get started. So a couple things about Vue and how to start with Vue. So I just put out a video on my channel actually about the many ways to get started with Vue. So, there's Vue 3, which is the new version that came out, but the API is actually almost exactly the same as Vue 2 for basic and intermediate applications until you get into some of the more advanced APIs and some of the lower level APIs that Vue has now opened up to us and made it easier for us to optimize our Vue applications for scaling. But in general, you can use Vue 2 or Vue 3, and it won't matter too much now. I would say if you're learning, then why not go ahead and try Vue 3? With the caveat that most libraries in the Vue ecosystem, the ones that aren't maintained by the core team, so your UI component libraries like Bootstrap Vue, Vuetify, all those have not been built or not been updated to work with Vue 3 yet. So you will be limited a little bit in which libraries and tools you can use right now. But all of the core functionality and core modules like Vuex, VueRouter, and even the dev tools, all of that stuff now works with Vue 3. So yeah, I would say if you're starting, then Vue 3, it's good to get started with Vue 3. Just understand that you try to install libraries, it may or may not work yet.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we should start looking into Vue 3, but be patient. I think, yeah, this is always that gray area when you're starting a new project. It's like, do I use that that new version, but not everything is caught up yet. But hopefully it'll catch up soon. And usually the case. These things usually catch up
Yeah.
pretty quick.
And part of it is just because it's, the open source community. So it takes a while for open source projects to update and get contributions and get them working properly because the new version just came out. And that's one of the reasons why the new Vue version, Vue 3, is actually in a separate repo from the main Vue repo. So if you install Vue right now, you'll get Vue 2. But if you install Vue at next, basically that's Vue 3. So you have to, I guess, purposefully intend to install Vue 3 so they won't be confusing people yet since it just came out. But it's absolutely in a stable version. It's just kind of waiting for the ecosystem to update and mostly for other libraries, packages, tools to update and also come out in stable versions.
Makes sense. Okay, so for me, I think I personally would choose Vue 3 because then I can start moving forward and slowly learning the new features, and I'll bring things in slowly as and when they're ready.
Okay. So I'm in the terminal right now, and I think you're in a different folder. You're in Eddie Botmap.
Oh yes, it is the correct one. I renamed the project on GitHub, but I didn't rename the folder, so that's my mistake. And you're in which one? Are you in the shared one?
Yeah, it says bash. Okay, good. Now you're in the same one.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. That never used to happen like that. It used to look like the same one. So, okay. So you're driving.
Oh, I think it's because I accidentally closed my terminal and then I just reopened it. So, and then it looked different. So I think it's my fault.
No problem. We haven't got, I don't think we got colors, but that's fine. We're all geeks here. I think we all kind of can follow along. I like the colors, but it's fine.
Yeah, we'll live. So first, so you already installed the Vue CLI. So if you go to the Vue documentation and make sure you're in the Vue 3 documentation, and you can copy the link to install the CLI. And the very latest update of the CLI, if you run it, it will install a version which you will be able to use with Vue 3 to start Vue 3 applications. Yes, click there.
Perfect.
Yeah, so now you're in the Vue 3 docs. So if you go, getting started, and installation is to the left, the top to the left. Up top.
Oh, yeah, up one.
There.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. And then if you scroll down, of course, you can use Vue via the CLI or the CDN or whichever. But yeah, that's the command, npm install. You can install it globally. And then you'll have the Vue CLI in perpetuity to start all the Vue applications you want. So I had Eddie run that before the stream because it takes a minute to update or to install sometimes. So now it gives you this command.
You were typing. I was typing. I was just going to do Vue version just to show the version that's installed.
Oh, go ahead.
Pair programming. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Right. I have 4.5.7.
Okay, cool. Just in the future, so someone's watching, they know the version. And so now we have a command. We have a command Vue, which basically installing the Vue CLI, it sets up this Vue command for us. So, when I zoom in on my computer, it doesn't matter. I forgot. Or I can be a zoom in or a zoom out as I want. So basically I can do Vue and then create, which will create a new application. Now, if I want to create a new folder, this is usually what I do. So I create a new folder and I would call it some kind of app name. But Eddie already has this folder and we want to use this user.json and we already have a README. So I'm just going to do Vue create and then dot to create in the current directory. Now, you have to be a little careful, I guess, because if you have, like a package.json file or some other file, that could be overwritten by Vue create because it bootstraps the whole new Vue application. But in general, if you already have a file and perhaps if you already have your Git repo and stuff in this folder, if you already have a folder and you already have a Git repo and stuff, you can just do Vue create and then period. And it will.
So because I do have a Git. This is a Git repo, so it won't cause any issues.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah. With view create, I don't know. Can you zoom in? Feel like it's hard to read,
Okay, I
but
can
you
zoom in
can't
more.
use capital letters in the app name.
Got you. Okay. Oops.
It's not supported.
Okay.
I know you have a Java background, so I think I think that's why you named it so.
I do love my Java, yes, and that's why I love TypeScript.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what. Let's make it easier. Let's recreate a new folder, and then therefore, and I can just add, and we can just
Well,
start from scratch if you want.
okay, sure. But
That's easier.
then would I have to rejoin the live share in a different folder?
Oh yeah, you will. Live streaming challenges. You're right. Okay, so what?
Okay.
How could
I'm gonna
we get
create a
away with it?
nested folder. I'll
Okay,
create a
do
nested
that.
folder. I think that's the
Perfect.
easiest thing to do.
I like that idea. Easiest
Yeah.
option on a live stream, so we can focus
Yeah.
on the project we're gonna build.
So I'll do view create, and let me just call this bot
Okay.
or Eddie bot. Should I call it Eddie bot? Do you want your
Edibot
name in it?
sounds good.
Okay. My nickname's Gwen bot, so don't feel bad. Okay, so I did view create Eddie bot. This is one of the things that I love the most about Vue. So I was working in React before Vue, and as my front end framework of choice. But one of the things that really frustrated me about React is though I enjoyed working in React itself, it was difficult to bootstrap an application. And you'll know what I'm talking about if you remember back in like 2015, 2016, trying to create a web app. And I became an expert in Webpack and all those other things that I needed to start building a React app. So when I started with Vue, the Vue CLI, I think, is the best CLI. It gives you so many options that to start bootstrapping an application, and it just sets things up for you out of the box. And part of that is because of some of the design decisions that Vue made when they started the library. It's basically flexible enough to be like React, a library, so you can use it just as a Vue library, and then use all the other modules you want. And it can be totally not opinionated about what you use for state management or how to handle anything else. And you can also use Vue as a framework and use all of the core team maintained tooling that it will install for you and set up for you. And one of the great things about using it as a batteries included framework is that it has well-documented ways to use everything. It has well-documented ways to manage your data flow, your state, your any routing that you're doing, testing, all of that stuff. So I
That
think
sounds great to me. That
if you
sounds
understand what
perfect.
I'm saying, Vue has made a lot of really smart design decisions, and I think that's because Vue has the benefit of learning from frameworks that came before it, like learning from
Angular,
Angular.
Angular, yes.
Yeah, learning from Angular. I mean, they stole directives and a lot of other smart things from Angular, and they took a lot of things from React as well and kind of put it together and took all the best things. And they keep doing that because they took React hooks and updated them a bit for Vue. So it's smart. Stealing is smart from open source.
Open
It's
source,
how
it's not
things
stealing,
grow.
right?
Yeah, it's innovation.
Exactly,
Yeah,
standing on the shoulder of giants.
exactly. Okay, so I will get started now. So
Okay.
as you can see, the new Vue CLI, by default, because Eddie doesn't have any of his own options set up here, so you can see the default is to start with either a Vue 2, just a basic Babel and ESLint setup, or you can start with Vue 3, basic Babel and ESLint, or you can manually select features. And I'm actually going to manually select
Oh
features just
wow,
because
living life on the edge. Okay, we're gonna live dangerously.
yeah, just because I want to select a router and I just want that to be installed for me and set up for me. So I'm going to click enter. Okay, and then see the top option is I'm manually selecting so I can choose the Vue version. Of course, I want Babel and I want
TypeScript.
Linting. We're going to skip TypeScript today. Maybe next time.
Okay, next time. That's what Debbie said as well.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah. One of these days you will get some Vue and TypeScript. So I'm going to select router here, and might as well go ahead and select state management in case we want it later. And then CSS preprocessors. Do I want to use Sass? I'll just use CSS. That's fine for me. Unit testing, that's okay. So I'm going to click enter here. And now I can choose the Vue version. And by the way, if you're a Vim user, you can use J and K to go up and down. If you're not a Vim user yet, then you should get on board with Vim. It's so great. Okay.
No arguments there. Vim is pretty awesome.
Yeah, in the browser, in the code editor, everywhere. Vim everywhere. So I'm going to choose Vue 3.x. Now it's asking me some questions about how I want my application set up. Do I want to use history mode for router? Sure, that's just a one-line code change, but I'll just say okay. ESLint with error prevention. I'll use standard ESLint config. Do I want to lint on save or lint and fix on commit? I can run my own fixes. I'll just lint on save. And then where do I want my config files? So do I want Babel in its own file, ESLint in its own file, or do I want all of the config stuffed into the package.json? And just by how I worded that sentence, you probably know what I prefer.
Yeah, we know where you're going with this one.
Yeah, so I think it clutters up the package.json a bit. And especially as my projects grow, putting so many things in the package.json, it becomes hard to navigate. And I like the dedicated config files because then I can make them into a JavaScript file and I have a lot more options with what I can do with my setup. So I'm going to do dedicated config files. Do you want to save this preset? No, Eddie can make his own presets. Okay. So no, I'll definitely be using NPM.
NPM, yes. Sorry, Debbie. I know that Debbie's a Yarn fan.
Yeah, I did use Yarn when I think a couple years ago, NPM had some bug where it was a lot slower than Yarn.
Oh, it's so slow.
Yeah, but now it seems to be just as fast as Yarn. Yarn has a couple things that I think NPM still doesn't have, like workspaces, but yeah, I've been happy with NPM. Oh, Yarn works better with Nuxt. Okay, I think am I using Yarn in my Nuxt project? I can't remember. I also really like Nuxt though.
Nuxt is pretty good. I do like the options, kind of like server-side rendering and all those different options. It's something, once I understand Vue a bit more, then I'm going to really get into Nuxt. It's on my list. It's top 3 of my list of things to do.
Yeah, Nuxt is a lot of good design decisions put together. It makes, even if you're not using server-side rendering. Okay, I don't want to talk too much about Nuxt, but
I agree with you.
Yeah, it's one of the best things that ever happened to Vue. Okay, I'll leave it at that.
Before you get started, I just got to quickly say, you bring up some really good points, and we did mention that Debbie's got a YouTube channel. Debbie, I can't find your YouTube channel at the moment, so feel free to drop a link in the chat to your YouTube channel where you'll be doing lots of Nuxt stuff.
Nuxt. Someone asked Nuxt or Next. It's Nuxt. Okay, so now let me cd into that folder. Because I named my project, it created its own folder for it. So you can see it created all of these config files, the package.json. It went ahead and installed dependencies for me. And it also created a Git repo. It initialized a Git project and made a commit. But I'm probably gonna delete that .git, which I guess you can't see right now. So anyway, I'm gonna cd into Eddybot. And now I'm in Eddybot, so, I have to do
Have you got shortcuts and so forth?
It's just a Mac. Are you on, you're on Mac too. Yeah. I don't know why. I think I'm using, you're using Bash.
I'm using well, I use ZSH, but for the shared terminal, it opened it in Bash. I don't know why.
Oh, okay. Because you
closed it and reopened it. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. Okay, I thought it had created a .git directory. Maybe it didn't because the parent directory already has a .git then,
Possibly.
which is fine. Yeah. So I'm going to move this users.json into here and then figure out what we want to do with that at some point.
Okay.
Okay, so now I have this basic Vue project set up, and it's basically giving me 3 commands. It gives me the serve command, which runs a development server, which will watch for changes and, run hut updates and everything, which is awesome. That's already set up for me. It also gives me a build command, and it also gives me a link command. Build is for building for production or if I'm pushing the code somewhere. That creates a dist folder for me. Now, if you are a React user, you might recognize this and say, oh, Vue CLI service. That's kind of like what React does when you run React or create React app. It abstracts this away from you. But you'll notice, one thing you'll notice here is there is no eject. So Vue doesn't have the concept of ejecting like React does, meaning you have full access to update Webpack however you want right out of the box. You don't have to eject to be able to update your builds. And that's something that React needs to copy from Vue. Yeah. Anyway, I will be comparing React a little bit to Vue because React is just such a popular framework. If you don't know React already, you can just ignore those comments. But I think it's good
We'll
for
ignore them.
comparison. Yeah.
No, put them in there, but as an Angular person, I want to ignore them.
Okay. So let's see. Now our entry point for the application. So here.
Oh, what's this? Sorry, 1 second. ESLint extension would like to use Edibot. Oh, yeah, because we've changed direction. Okay, allow. It's fine. Sorry, carry on.
Yeah, it's okay. So here is our entry point for our application. So this is basically rendering our application to the page. If you use the CDN, I mean, you'll be using the same API, basically the create app API. You'll just be passing in your own objects here, but it's the same thing. And we're telling it to mount inside the DOM element with this ID, which Vue has nicely already created that HTML file for us in the public directory. So we can see index.html, and here is the div with ID app, and that's where our Vue application is going to live. So anything inside of here will be controlled and handled by the Vue code that we're going to write, the Vue JavaScript syntax and then the Vue templating syntax. So yeah, and then any JavaScript files will be auto-injected at build time with Vue, or when you run npm run build. Okay, so this is basically the entry point in our main.js. If we add any other libraries, CSS libraries or JavaScript libraries, we always add them in this file. And then we can extend this. You can see how it uses .use. So we can extend this however many times we want with these use or mount or a bunch of other methods that we get on this application that we created. So, and you can stop me. Yeah, thanks for asking if everyone's following along.
Don't worry, you're doing all the hard work, so I thought I'd check out how everyone's doing. I have a question. So, what happens if we were to run this now? What would we see? Like, we haven't changed any code. This is what got generated by the CLI. So, if we were to run this, would we see a blank page? Would we see something?
Yeah, so you can see that Vue has already created components. Anything with .vue is a Vue component that will be rendered on the screen, basically. So you can have .vue components that don't have any, that just have logic, that don't have any template in them. But for basic and intermediate use cases, you probably won't do that anyway. So you basically, in Vue components, you have a template and you have a script tag for your JavaScript. And these two are connected. Basically, whatever you write in your template, you're able to access variables and methods from Oh, I forgot my mouse waving. You can't see that. Um, you're basically able to access variables and methods from what's in your script tag up in your template here. And it makes it very interactive. It uses some two-way data binding, and there's a lot of other things you can use as well. Okay, so it has these two components that will render to the screen. So right out of the box, you saw I had those three commands. I keep zooming in, think it was zooming in over there. You saw I had those three commands, and the one for the development server, I can do npm run serve.
Okay, do I need to get a browser ready?
Yeah.
8080. Here we go. I'll
The
bring it
host
over.
shared a server localhost 8080 with you. Would you like to view this in the browser? Sure.
VS Code's
Oh,
working
I
its
see.
magic, so you get to see it as well. I think it forwards the port onto me.
Oh, cool. I didn't even know it did that. Okay, so this is the application that we get out of the box by Vue. You'll notice because we chose the router option, Vue installed a front-end router for us. So you can see, can you zoom in a little bit on the browser?
Of course, on the browser content, not on the URL though. How's that?
Um, so you can see that home and about, there's two links at the top.
Oh yeah,
So it's set up two different routes. So if you go to the about, it goes to a /about page.
awesome.
And if you go home, it's just the home page. And you don't have to have a router, of course. You can build a single page application, but most apps you'll want the router for. So yeah, so let me open up the router file. So you can see that I have my two routes defined here. So I have /about, and this is basically how you set up a router. You have just an array basically of all of the routes you want. I know that React Router, you put routes inside of different components in your component tree. React Router is a third-party library. It's not maintained by the core React team. So, but Vue Router is maintained by the core team, and it's a standard way of making routes for Vue applications. I've actually never used any other routing system other than Vue Router, with Vue anyway. So anyway,
That's music to my
basically,
ears. Definitely music to my ears. Coming from the Angular world, when the core components, or like you said, routing and so forth, is maintained by the core team, it just fills me with more confidence. Let's say.
yeah, and it makes it a bit easier to use. Like you saw, we can set it up out of the box. It's also well documented and also updated, right? You can see we can already use Vue Router with Vue 3 because it's updated when Vue is updated. So all of the core libraries are updated with Vue. So it keeps everything in sync, everything kind of working together, documented together. It's specifically tailor made for Vue. It's not a general purpose library. So it's just created to work well with Vue. Um, so yeah, so I pass in a list of objects here, and all these objects are routes. Now there's more advanced ways you can do this. You can have nested objects, child routes, all of that stuff. But on a basic level, you just have an array of objects with a path, a name, because you can route by name too. You can say, hey, I want to go to the page that's named about. And then you say which component you want to display when that person goes to that route, basically. And then you create your router with the Create Router API. This is a new API with the new Vue version. So Vue Router, they basically updated all their API to match between all libraries and be modular. So a few things updated, like the syntax is slightly different for the history mode, create router, but it's basically doing the same thing between version 2, version 3. You export the router, and then in your main file, this is where you do .use router, .use store, which is Vuex, and you just chain all of the different libraries and tools and modules that you want to use in your Vue application. And because we use .use router here, Actually, all of the, I guess the functionality for the router is injected into our components. So then we have access to use the router inside of our components. So if I go into app.view, you can see it has router link inside the template. Where did it get these router link elements? That's from the router, from injecting the router into our application. And then you can also access routes with, like, let's say I'm in my JavaScript here. If I'm in a script tag, then I would do this dot route or this dot router, and then I can access the router, because if you're familiar with Angular, you know about injecting, right? Yeah.
Yep. Angular's awesome. You can do everything.
Sometimes, yeah. Vue is a bit more flexible than Angular because you can use it as a library or a framework, which
True.
that's something personally I like. And then you have router view.
Do you usually use it in one? Do you use it more as a library or more as a framework, or it depends on the project? Do you have a preference when using
Yeah,
Vue?
I use it more as a framework, especially when I'm building client apps. I feel like I always need state management, always need routing, testing
Exactly.
if the client wants testing. I pretty much always use a lot of the official tooling in the Vue ecosystem. So I don't really, like, if you're building a basic web page or like a portfolio page or something, then yeah, just use the core Vue library and don't install the router and all that. But in general, I find, especially when I'm working on professional applications, there's not a single case when I don't need, front end routing and all of that stuff.
Very true.
So, okay, so this router view, this is what will display our component. So this router view tag is replaced by, let me get rid of that, by whatever component we define here, basically. So if we're at the /about page, and this is just some more advanced syntax here. I think I'm going to move this to not confuse anybody. So let me do import about from, about.view, and then yes, you have Vim set up. And then this will be the about component. Okay, so this is just the simplest way to do it. And then wherever we have this router view tag, it gets replaced by the component of whatever page that we are currently on. And you will notice now, view 3, look at this, inside your template tag. By the way, these template tags don't render to the DOM. They are just kind of wrappers for your HTML elements and custom components here. But you'll notice in view 3, look at this, we can render multiple components from inside the template tag. Before, you used to have to wrap these in an inner component that was actually going to be rendered.
Oh, I see. Okay.
You would have to do something like this. But now you don't have to do that anymore in view 3. So it basically means less nesting in your DOM, which will be more performant overall. And React did something similar recently, where I think you have to use keys in React, and Vue handles it more, but it's basically the same thing done by both libraries, and Vue probably copied React and just updated it. So
made it better. We actually have a question on from the in the chat. We haven't quite got to that yet, but I wondered if we'd just have a quick look at it and see. So the question is, I've lost it now. Where is it? I have lost it.
Okay.
Should I use router in Vuex store? How to deal with state change in the Vuex store?
Yeah, so that's a little bit more advanced. I do use the router in the store. For example, if I make an API call, like let's say I make an API call to authenticate a user from my store, from my global actions, then if the user authenticates after they log in, then I will reroute them to a dashboard page or something. So I do use the router inside the store. That's just a pattern that I like. You don't have to, but I think it's the easiest way to reroute in many cases. But yeah, we haven't got into the store yet because we're going to build some of the application first. So, okay, so we have the routing set up. I'm going to change some of these components a little bit. You'll notice in Vue applications, so just from the tree structure, I guess, of folders. So of course you have assets where you can put images and stuff. You have views and components. We already saw router and store kind of. So we have views and components, and views are your main views that you will connect to your router. So we have an about page at /about. We have a home page at just the home route /. So these are the components you connect to your router, and then components are ones you import into these views, basically. So they're small. You know how people build, if you know modern web applications, they're made of many different sections. Like you might have a form, you might have a sidebar, you might have a top nav. All of those different things are just pieces of a page, but not a complete page. So you'll basically put all your pieces in here as components. The views and components both have .view, end in .view as an extension, and the view files are arranged the same way. But you'll basically, let's go to home here. So you can see this component, hello world, is being imported into the home component, and it's being defined as a component. And what it means to define as a component here, it means you can use it in your template. So I'm importing this into my home, and that's why, can you pull up the browser?
Oh, yeah.
You can see all that text on the page is from Hello World. It's not from the home component. So that's just an easy way to arrange and organize your code. But I am going to delete Hello World here.
No! I liked Hello World, but I do have a question. I'll put my hand up. So my question is, if you had like a list and we wanted to loop over the list, we wanted to make that, I guess, that item in the list a reusable component. We would then put that reusable component under the components folder, but the page itself, I don't know if it was like user list or something, would then go under views. Is that my understanding?
Yes.
Cool. Okay.
Yes, and I think the easiest way to understand is like, your main pages, anything connected to the router will go in views, pretty much, for the most part. And then anything that you're putting on another page is in components. So that's where you really start to break apart. I mean, you could have just views and make this component like 500 lines long and just have all your code, but it gets really unmaintainable very quickly. And also, you can share code among components. They're composable, so you can put them together, use them on different pages, reuse your modals and whatever you have. I've been neck deep in modals for a couple days, so that's why I'm thinking about modals right now. But there's a new modal syntax too. Maybe we'll get into that, or not syntax, but a new way to handle modals, which I love. Okay, I'm not going to talk anymore about modals. Right? Okay, let me get rid of this image too here. So now I just have home
and about.
And actually, just for my pedantic nature and happiness, I am going to use the class home page here, or home view or something, so I can basically namespace any CSS styles that I have later if I want to.
Could I be pedantic as well? Could we just call it home? The reason why I say that is because the file is called home. So it just kind of matches.
Okay.
Is that too pedantic?
I guess it doesn't matter here, but I just like to do that because short names, I just feel like they're going to be overwritten by something else. So I like to...
You put page at the end, right? Okay, so then the other one would be about page then. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, but either way, yeah. Sorry. Okay, so I have an about page, home page. So on this page, I'm going to start with... did you show an example of the list of users we're going to get? or should I just go ahead and put them on the page?
I can. It's not quite going to look like this, but I can give people an idea. So if I go to
Yeah, we're going
here,
to be using the GitHub API.
so if I make this a bit bigger, so look at the bit on the left, like above my head. So ignore the map and the events on the right, but we're going to get a list of users which we've hard coded, and then the idea is the extra information we're going to get from the GitHub API. So it's going to be dynamic. The reason why we're hard coding the user list is because I couldn't decide if I get the users from our GitHub organization or if I get it from our Discord database, because we've got a Discord bot. So I'm unsure. We'll have to tie it together eventually. I'm not sure where the first list will come from. So I need to think about that. So that's why we just hard coded a few. We've selected a few people at random. I'll say at random. We've selected the moderators from our community, but we will add some people from the community as well, I suppose, as well. We can. If I open that file, we can have a look. Here we go. Users JSON. There we go. That's what it looks like. So we just got username and role. So it's the GitHub username. Let me go back to following Gwen so we can see what she's up to. Here we go.
Okay, cool. Mohammed said, what is the use of the name property inside of the component? Yeah, so I think, and in the past, I remember getting errors if I wasn't using a name component and I was using the router trying to navigate to this page. I think that you need it for the router and also maybe for the dev tools, but it's not mandatory that you have a name here. I'm not sure if it's used for anything else. Maybe if Debbie's still here, she can speak up if she knows it's used for something else as well. But I generally have a name for any component that I'm hooking up to the router here. Yeah, so I'm basically, I don't know if you could see well from the image he just showed, but I'm basically putting a list of users on the page here, and then we're going to go into API calls and all of that good stuff. So I'm going to start off with just a card component and basically display the users as a list of cards on the page, if that makes sense. So one user, I guess, above each other, or maybe as cards side by side. I don't know yet. We'll figure out the layout.
I love your chilled attitude. I don't know. Let's get the data on the page. Let's see how it looks afterwards. I like your thinking.
Yeah. So I keep trying to move to my browser here. So there are, with modern applications, a lot of times we can use Vue component libraries to style it for us. The only thing in Vue 3 now, as I kind of mentioned at the beginning, is that all of the major Vue component libraries are not updated for Vue 3. I looked at Incline, which is a Vue UI component library with styling and everything in a grid system. They say they're going to update they're trying to update, but I don't think they've started the process yet. A lot of these libraries are trying to rebuild completely in Vue 3, so it's going to take a while. Yes, that's the one. So Vuetify is not going to be compatible with Vue 3 until Q1 of next year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's what I said. And that's the one I love to use. So they're completely rebuilding everything in the new low-level APIs that Vue 3 has available. So that, of course, that's going to take time because they have 50 components and then thousands of options you can use. So every single thing rebuilt in Vue 3, that's a lot. And then Element UI has been forked, but that's another really big one. But I've been doing so much research about what's working with Vue 3. But that one only has one component.
Okay, closing that.
Yeah. And then what else? Yeah, pretty much everything else is just saying they're going to rebuild in Vue 3, but it hasn't been started yet. And I am working on helping update some libraries into Vue 3 right now as part of Hacktoberfest. So if you follow my channel and my Twitch, then you'll get to see me upgrading things to Vue 3. Prime Vue. Oh, that's funny you mentioned Prime View, Tanmay, because I was just looking at that. I'm actually making a
Prime
video about it
View.
right now.
Let's have a look.
Um, just use Tailwind CSS. I think I'm going to keep it real simple and use Bootstrap CSS right now. I just wanted to talk about the Vue component libraries.
I really got to admit, I do really like Tailwind CSS because you kind of get the best of both. It's easy to build components, but it doesn't look like every other site. So I do
Yeah,
like Tailwind, gotta admit.
I think Tailwind works well. I think there's just a lot of syntax to learn. So if you're not working in Tailwind, it's like you don't know what to do in your own CSS versus the CSS classes that they have.
True.
And if you're a noob, Tailwind noob like me, then you kind of run away with classes. How'd I get, 20 classes in this one div? Like, what just happened there? So, yeah, it's a little bit hard to use until you get used to it, I think. So I'm going to stick so basic and do Bootstrap today. So
Okay.
do you think you could pull up a Bootstrap CDN? I don't know, Bootstrap version 4 or something. Oh, hi, Code Stacker. It's good to see you. Oh, he's a Tailwind fan too. Cool.
Yes, CodeStacker, and CodeStacker has a YouTube channel as well. So do go check out their YouTube channel
Yeah.
too, as
He
well.
probably has some Tailwind videos.
Yeah. Okay. So do you want me to grab one of these?
Um, yeah, I'll just use the CDN is fine.
Okay. If I copy these in. Oh,
Oh, JS. Oh, we're not using jQuery and stuff.
perfect. Phew. Okay, good. That was a test. You passed.
Okay.
Okay, it's only let me copy that. Okay, and where are we
Yeah.
putting this? If I remember correctly, you said it was in which file was it?
In the public/index.html.
Uh, Here we go. Yes. Okay.
For a CDN, go to homepage. Oh, I think the comments uh, are delayed a little bit, maybe like 10 seconds or so. Okay, cool. You have, yeah, Bootstrap 4.5.2. Okay, so we should be able to use a card in Bootstrap. Um, can you pull up the Bootstrap docs real quick?
Yeah.
I just want to.
Explore docs. Which one?
Okay, and
Component.
search. Yeah, or just pull up the card right there. Right there. Yeah. And let's just grab a basic card and we can kind of, yeah, I think that's good to display users like that. And if you can post that on the homepage right now,
Let's see if it
home.view,
works. Yeah. Just here.
yeah, we'll create a component for it later. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and delete hello world. We're not going to use that again.
So if I save this, dependency not
Oh, sorry.
found. Oh, is that because you're deleting stuff?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
it might appear.
Um, to install it. Oh, yeah. Are we importing it anywhere else? I don't think we're importing it here. Yeah, maybe we just need to rerun the application.
Oh, okay. To start it again. Let me just stop it and start it. There we go.
Home.view. Yeah, try that.
Okay, yeah, it's going to rebuild. Oh, no, it still didn't like it.
Okay, so
Why is it looking in node modules?
this dependency not found. View loader dist home.view. Hmm.
Let me just check. It was because of this, or was it because something was deleted? I don't think it was because of me adding Bootstrap.
Okay.
No, I don't think it was. I don't think it had anything to do with Bootstrap. Was it because something got deleted? Did you have to remove a
Um,
reference to it or something?
I think we can search and see if there's another reference to it.
What was it
So I
called?
think uh what
Was
was
it
that component called? Hello World.
Hello World? No, apparently
Is
not.
no, there's not. That's weird. Um,
Maybe we just
oh,
put it back.
problems. It says the template root requires exactly one element. Oh, okay. template root. So I think it's saying the app.view file maybe, because this is the root component. This dependency was not found. Home.view. Oh, hi, Connor. How are you? Connor is someone I work with actually
Hi,
at
Connor.
my client. Yeah, he's a project manager who helps me out a lot.
Awesome.
Okay.
Good to have you here. You're watching us break some stuff.
Yeah. Okay, so it wasn't being in a root file. So maybe let's just try to undo
We should
what
have
we were doing.
committed each time we did something successful. So everyone watching, don't do what we did. We got too excited and we raced ahead.
Yeah.
So if we had a save point, we could have gone back. But it shows that, we make mistakes too and we learn from them. So we will commit going forward.
Yeah, let me make another hello world.view. And in here, all I'm going to do is actually, can I? Yes.
Clone my
Okay,
cover.
good. Let's see. I can just add that. Okay. Why is it not saving? There we go. Yeah, it didn't seem to have anything to do with that.
No. What did we change? I could do a git status, but we have changed quite a bit.
Yeah, I guess we should have committed somewhere along the way.
Okay, we've learned. Everyone watching has learned. So,
okay.
Yeah,
so I'm going to step back through because we have home and about. We pretty much deleted everything in about. Okay, about's not the issue. So get rid of that.
Okay.
Let's see. We have home. Oh, I think.
Oh, is it being?
Maybe some of the syntax we copied.
Does it check?
See. No, it seems like the syntax is okay.
Can I just hit save on that?
Because when we copy pasted it here.
I think that was it. It was that stodgy syntax from the example.
Oh.
So copy and paste development never works, and I've just proven that. That was the test. I was just trying to show what not to do. So perfect.
Yeah, it's good. Okay, so now we have this card.
And we do have a card. Yes.
Cool. And now we need to pull in an actual user here to use inside the card. So I'm going to separate this out into components later, but for right now, I just want to pull in a single user just from within the component. And then we can, separate out components, and then we can refactor again and move all of our API call logic into view X, where I think it belongs.
That's what I want to see. That's going to be so exciting. And we'll commit as we go along. Yeah,
we will remember to commit. Okay, so now I'm going to add. So if you don't know, in all modern frameworks have these things called lifecycle hooks, and so it's basically methods or functions that get called when you are at different stages, like when your component renders or when it appears in the web browser. There are hooks. There are functions that are called hooks that get called before and after it renders on the web page, and before and after Vue creates it and prepares it to get rendered, or hooks that get called before and after any component leaves a web page. And that makes frameworks very, very flexible for calling functions at different points based off of what the user is doing and what the user is seeing on their screen. So one of these functions is called mounted, and it's a function. And basically, mounted gets called when, by the way, this is a shorthand syntax for this. So some people like to use the function keyword and keep it in a nice object-looking syntax, or you can use the somewhat new, somewhat old syntax shorthand. Let's see. one problem. Oh, missing space before function parens.
We
Winter
have got
doesn't
it.
like
We have
that.
got it running on safe, which I think is good.
Yeah, so it's reminding me every save. Okay, um, so this mounted here, this mounted function, we never have to call this function ourselves. Vue will automatically call this every time the home page gets displayed on the screen in the browser. So after it's already rendered, after all of these divs and everything are in the browser, and the user can see it, it's going to call this mounted function. And this is where I'm going to put fetch. And fetch is just a built-in browser API that we all know and love. It's just easier than installing Axios here for a simple GET request. And then I think I can you give me a user to call and get the data so we can start playing with some
Yes,
data?
that's good. So we could use mine to start off with. You want? Oh, I
Yeah,
pasted it in the
sure.
wrong place. Should I paste it in here for you? There we go. You want the full
Okay,
URL,
so
don't you? Should I grab that for you too? I do have
yeah,
the docs. Um,
yeah, I think it's that, isn't it? Slash user slash username,
I think pretty sure it
perhaps?
is. I'm just double checking. I should have prepared. So my apologies, everyone. Get off.
I
That's
think you actually
authenticated user.
you sent me the API earlier, so I thought
Aha.
maybe you already had it.
I
You
must have
probably have
closed
it.
it. Let me check our chat history. I did send it earlier, right?
Okay. Or I could also check it. Um,
Here we go. I've got the link. Yes, so it's users. Okay. So if I go back to where we were,
okay. Yeah, just post it or paste it in the mounted function somewhere.
so if I and then we put that, and it was / users. And we should be able to check that in the browser actually, because it's going to be public data. We
Yeah,
should be
so
able
check
to.
it. Good idea.
If I use Chrome, because otherwise Debbie will shout at me because it's not going to be formatted JSON. So we did this last time. We installed this plugin to get formatted JSON. So yes, that's brought out my user information on GitHub. So perfect.
Cool. That's
So
like,
that should work.
yeah, I'm always surprised at how much information GitHub gives you in its public API. It's like 35, 40 key value pairs. Okay. So we won't be using all of that information, but it's good. Now we have Eddie here. So I think I can do const response equals whatever we fetch from that API. And I think is it response.data from the fetch API?
I don't. I usually use Angular's HTTP client and
Oh,
RxJS and
okay.
other stuff. So
Yeah, I usually use Axios, but I guess we can just see here. We'll
we'll
console.log.
all work it out together. I'm sure someone watching can let us know. If not, we'll get it in the console log. So let me go back to
Yeah.
here. Open this up. We have a promise. Okay, that's a good start.
Oh, I forgot to wait.
Yeah, we both did.
Yeah, I forgot this returns a promise. Okay, so now I have to change this mounted function to async and do a wait here. So
Mohammed wrote away. Thank you, Mohammed. Yes, I think he beat us to it, but the chat is a little bit slow today, so it came through a bit later. So thank you.
yeah. Okay, can you try that in the browser again?
Let's have a look. Aha.
I can't
We.
even see.
Oh, was that too small? Sorry, let me make it bigger. And then let me move it over a little bit so it's not behind
Oh, he says to
us.
use response.json. Okay.
I trust Mohammed, so whatever he says, he's always right. So I do trust
It
him.
says body. It has body there though. I think we can just use body.
Readable stream though. Okay.
Uh,
Can try it.
oh,
I'm
okay.
I'm happy to learn more and try and see what works and
We
what
need
doesn't.
response.json here. Okay. It will be fun someday if they make, I don't know, if the internet and computers get so good that we can uh, pair program with everyone from the stream.
Oh, that'd be a
I
good
actually don't
idea.
know if that would be scary or
Should I
fun.
send them? Actually, we should do a stream on that, or send everyone the VS Code link and everyone can just join and we can do a hackathon that way, all working in one, like pair
Yeah.
programming, try programming, but like, I don't know, octo programming,
We'll have to do a really, I don't know,
chaos programming.
we'll have to have a really good Git blame so we can block any user trying to troll, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, missing await. So I have to await the res.json as well.
If we were using TypeScript, it would tell us that this would. Oh, it does also
Yeah.
say it's a promise. Okay.
All right. That's fine. Yeah.
Yes. So we've got my data. Perfect.
Okay, cool. That's all your data, and then we don't have to do anything else. Um, okay, so
Awesome.
here with this, I'm going to get rid of the console.log here. So I want to save the user data here. So for right now, I'm going to do a data method here. And data is just a place. Oh, my linter is going to complain. I need to put a space. So data is just a place to put any variables that I want to use in this component. So I can put them on data, and view will give me access to these variables inside of the template or inside of my JavaScript here.
Are you?
So let's see. I'll just put a user variable, and I'll start it off as an empty object. And then after this comes back, I'll get the eddy object back. So I can set this user here by doing this.user equals the response object there.
Okay.
Okay. Oh yeah, right. I forgot the comma. Oh, whoops, comma. There we go. And now that should work. So let's test it. Oh, bye, Dheeraj. Thanks for your help. Have a good day.
Good luck with your exam tomorrow.
Um,
Oh, sorry. I should
okay.
go to the browser, should I? No, we haven't actually
Yes.
displayed anything, but there's no errors. Seems to be showing. All is good.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, one more thing that you need to do now. So go back to your browser, and we need to install Vue DevTools so that we can really see what's going on in our Vue
Okay.
application.
Sounds good.
So, but you don't, now that we're using Vue 3, we can't just use the regular DevTools. We need
Oh,
the Vue 3 beta DevTools.
right. And can I get that through the store or no?
Yes, you can. I
Okay.
think it's only Vue 3 DevTools only work in Chrome right now. So, or Chromium browser. So you can use Brave, you can use any of those browsers.
View 3.
But
Okay.
it doesn't work in Firefox yet. Yes, that's the one.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. So now if you click those double arrows
Double
next to
arrows.
security, down, 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 down.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Yeah. Do you have Vue? You
I
might have to
don't.
relaunch your browser.
Okay, let's have a look.
Yeah. I think
That's
you have
one
to
thing
relaunch.
that we don't have with Angular is kind of good tools to help.
I think, yeah, Vue DevTools are the best DevTools I've ever used. One thing that differentiates it from something like React DevTools is that React has a different DevTool for each piece of your application. So it
Okay.
has one DevTool for the core React library, and then it has another DevTool for Redux or MobX, or, it has a different DevTool for each thing. Vue has a dev tool that encompasses all of the
That's
core
cool.
libraries together. So for state management, routing, core Vue application, everything put together in one nicely well-designed dev tool. Yeah, but you can't really see it in the beta version. You can see there aren't all the features there because this is just. I wish you could see the whole dev tool, but this is just like a simplified version of the dev tools. So yeah, but you can still traverse the app tree. And then I think, oh, it doesn't even have Vuex and Vue Router in the new beta DevTools yet, I don't think. Can you drop down Inspector real quick?
Yeah.
And timeline, components too. Yeah, you can't really see Vuex or VRouter. That's really unfortunate, but we still, I think if you click on home, so click on the home component. No, 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 no.
As in.
Inside your tree view. No, no, no,
Oh,
no,
okay, down
no.
here.
There.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, I should have said green. Um,
No, it's okay. No worries. It's good for everyone to see how pair programming works and sometimes doesn't. But you get used to it. I think the more you pair with someone, you kind of get to know what they're talking about as well. So I think that's why it's
yeah.
good to practice.
Yeah, it's like if you're around someone, you have all this inside language. It's like, no, that thing, and then everyone else knows what
Yeah.
you're talking about.
But that's why I think it's also good to pair with other people, because then otherwise you kind of get into the not bad habits, but into habits that you're just so familiar with that person. So I think it's good to also pair with other people, so people know they need to explain themselves a lot better.
Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah. Now that you've clicked on home, you see that new area popped up to the right
Yes, yeah, I can
for
see
the home
data where it
component.
says user object.
Yeah. So you can actually see any props, data, all of that stuff. I don't know if they have events working yet in um, this new beta version of the tools, but usually you would be able to see events, just everything to do with your
That's
view component.
awesome. That's really
Yeah,
good.
so you can see your component data there. So you see we have the user and the full object and everything. So now we can use that and display it inside the card on the screen.
So the first one
And
we could probably do is probably just grab the name and stick that in the title. What do you think?
yeah, so
So if I
I will
remember
do
this
that.
correctly from Debbie's stream, if I remember correctly, I should be able to use, is it single curly braces?
No, that's React style.
Is it like
Um,
Angular then? Like double?
double curly braces. Yeah,
Okay,
the
that's
double
good.
mustache syntax.
And then if I wanted to access the data, so if I wanted to access user, would I need to do something like, I can't remember what Debbie told me. She did tell me, I forget. Sorry, Debbie. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
gonna have to lead. I've forgotten.
Okay. Yeah, this will be the same between Nuxt and regular Vue application because Nuxt is just using Vue with some extra abstractions. But basically, so see here, we're using this dot user to reference this user variable. But if we reference it in our template, then we only have to do user. And we don't have this in our template at all, but we just directly use variables in our template. So
Okay.
we can do user.name here, and that will give us the name of the user. So if you pull up the browser again.
Sorry, Debbie's laughing at me because I forgot. It's been a whole week, Debbie. I'm sorry, I couldn't remember the Vue syntax. I remember it's like Angular, and I should have got that. So, okay, so let's have a look.
Yeah. And by the way, if you like a particular template syntax in Vue, you can use any kind of template syntax. This is just the default, which is HTML-like. But you can use Pug if you like indented syntax. You can use JSX too. If you are very attached to React's JSX, you can use that as well. So Vue is really flexible in that it lets you use, whatever syntax you want in the template. You can use JavaScript or TypeScript in your script, and then you can also add a style tag at the bottom and use Sass, CSS, anything that you want here. So there's a lot of flexibility you get with using Vue. It is a Vue stream, so I don't feel bad promoting it as much as I want. Okay, so now I forgot to look at the screen. Did you see
It
it
did
pop up?
work.
Yeah.
Yep, it pops up. Okay, so that's awesome. And I think from the user object, we also had bio. So if I drive
Yes.
for a second and I can copy
Okay.
that, it should be user dot, oh, I can't spell user. That's probably not a good start. But bio. So if I save that, then now we have, ignoring the syntax, but now we have we have the text. Okay, that's awesome. And then go somewhere. We could change that to be. I'm looking forward to the actual list of users. But for the moment, I could change that to be my GitHub profile. I'm guessing HTML URL. Okay, perfect. So in here, I could change this to be Would I do it like this, even though it's within the href, or would you do something special?
No, no. So if it's inside, like inside a tag here, then you won't use the double curly braces because anything that's inside these quotes here is going to be parsed as a string. Vue will not know that it is JavaScript at all. So what you do is use a special syntax, which is, so it's vbind : and using the vbind directive here. If you know Angular, then you know all about using directives. So this is a special syntax that Vue uses to let you know that, hey, I want to parse whatever's inside this href as JavaScript. So then you could do, user dot whatever inside here. So
similar to Angular-ish in a way. We put square brackets around stuff. But okay, that makes sense. I'll remember that this time, Debbie. I promise we'll remember this time, I think.
Okay, so what is the attribute I'm looking for?
HTML underscore URL. HTML underscore URL.
Okay. And then actually there's a shortcut for vbind here, so we don't even have to type out vbind. So if you just do : and then the directive, then and then the attribute, then it knows to parse this as JavaScript. So it says, okay, I'm going to look for the user variable and then find the HTML URL on that variable. Okay, so now it should work. I just saved it. Yeah, it is a nice shorthand.
So if I click this, go to my GitHub page, and it does. Perfect.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Looking good.
And when you build professional applications, you won't see anyone using vbind. Everyone just uses the : here. But just so you know, it's technically a shorthand.
Mohammed's got an awesome suggestion as well. Trust Mohammed to notice this. For the image, he was saying to use, what was it? Avatar URL. Nice. Okay, so I paid attention. I do this. You're going to tell me it's something different, aren't you?
No.
User avatar URL.
Okay.
Come on, fingers crossed. Everyone ready? Countdown. 3, 2, 1. Yes, it worked.
Sweet. It worked.
Yay, score.
That doesn't look bad. That's pretty good.
Not bad. Cool. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So, all right. So we have this one card here, but we want a lot of cards and a lot of users. So I think I'll just hard code we're going to hard code the usernames at first.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we already have those in the users.json file.
So we can copy and paste it out of there if you want, or you can read the file, whatever you prefer.
Okay, so first, I think just wait a second on that. Let me get rid of this.
Getting too excited, sorry, I was rushing ahead. I was getting too excited. This is looking good. I am liking Vue. The more I kind of, stream with Debbie and now with Vue, I'm liking it. Angular, yeah. If anyone from Angular, I'm really sorry. This is looking quite nice.
It is quite nice. I think you're going to keep liking Vue a little bit more and more as we go along. All right, so now we have this one card, but we want a whole page full of cards, right? So I think the first thing we can do is loop. So how do we make a loop of these cards and display a bunch of them? So we actually use another directive, and Vue has a lot of these directives. So this is v4, and it's basically looping through these divs as many times as we tell it to, and displaying these as many cards as we tell it to. So not a good description, but you'll see in a second. So v4, so this is a special directive by Vue. You can tell because it's it starts with V dash. So we don't have to, use the colon here at all. Oh, you were doing
Oh,
it too.
can I do it with the colon or no?
No,
Okay.
because this is a special directive. So Vue already knows how to parse whatever we
Oh,
pass
we see.
into
Got you.
before.
Okay.
Yeah, it's looping syntax. So we will do, for example,
Thought I was
and
being smart then. I'll try to like sneak it in there really quick.
no. So I'm just going to create like a dummy thing here, users real quick, and just for testing right now. But v4, and now I will do for. I'm gonna call this, so I don't overwrite user. I'm gonna just say for you in users, and then this will basically loop through and display these on the screen. The problem is right now it's, oh, maybe I have another error too.
Yeah, I think we've missed a
But the problem
comma.
is,
Yes. Good spot.
oh
People
yeah,
drive me crazy. Spotted that. Well done.
okay.
Well
Are
done.
you getting it?
Okay, I'll get it. I got it. Yes, I fixed it. I contributed. I read a comment and I fixed it. So good team effort.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go ahead. We'll address this squiggly underline in a second, but go ahead and check this out in the browser.
Oh, we busted it.
Oh, linting is just completely stopping us from, yeah. So I was going to check it out in the browser, but since we have a linter set up here,
Oh,
so a couple things we need to change.
okay.
So first, we need a key. So remember the colon is shorthand. We need a key, and this is used under the hood by Vue, so it can differentiate and properly handle all of the divs that we're going to be displaying inside of this loop, since it's dynamically looping and displaying them on the screen. So we need a unique key for each one. So in the loop, we have to decide how are we going to uniquely identify each user. For right now, yeah. So for right now, user or you just represents this number
Oh yeah, we
until
don't
we
have
change it.
username. It's not the right full object yet. Yes, my bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
So just put you for right now, and that will be a unique number each time. The
Oh,
linter
got
is
some
still saying,
space is required after 20 line 20. Oh, it's this.
oh, that's what I did. I was just being lazy. Okay. Or maybe I'm
Okay.
used to doing coding games challenges and trying to take out all my extra characters.
Yep, we can see that's 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect.
Yeah. So it's, yeah, so it's looping through our loop here. As you can see, probably already know, it's going through 4 times because we have 4 elements in the loop. So we can have any kind of an array of objects, whatever we want. And then we just put it into a v4 loop and we loop through and display. And it basically displays from the div that we put the v4 in. So it'll take the div that it's inside and display this div plus all of the child divs, which you can see in the cards, if that wasn't clear. Okay. So a couple things now. First, that bootstrap, or that displaying on top of each other, I would like to put them in rows and display them in rows. So I think we should use some bootstrap containers real quick. And I think I'm just going to add them here. If I remember the syntax, I think it's something like container, and then the next one should be div class equals. That's another thing here. Notice there's class and not class name because it's just, you can use the plain old HTML stuff in here, which is nice. So where was I? Oh yeah. So inside container, I want row. And then I think inside that, I want, is it call or column?
Yeah, call. Yeah, we've got people answering in the chat. This is awesome.
Okay, good. So I know there's a bunch of divs, but we'll we'll work on that in a second, breaking this component up and stuff. So that's just the nature of Bootstrap with Flexbox right now. So, okay, so that should work. Okay, you can see it could put some spacing there. Now in column, I think we can do, was it offset small 3, and this is column small of 6, I guess. Oh no, let me do 8 because the screen is kind of small. Okay. So I put these in columns, and now I want to float them in rows. And this is already using Flexbox here. Bootstrap uses them by default in columns. So I think what I can do is maybe, can you pull it up again?
Which one? The website or the docs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, someone's saying we should repeat the column. Oh, sorry, the website.
Oh, the website. Yeah.
Yeah, we could repeat the column if we wanted to. Actually, I'm going to get rid of the offset. But yeah, because it's inside a container and we're already doing this on small. Okay. Can you pull up the website again? And I think now if we do, what is it? Flex direction row. In Bootstrap 4, you can use .call. That way you will have 3 cards in the same row. Oh, okay. So Bootstrap will automatically handle positioning them in the same row. Okay. So I'm going to take, who is it? People drive me crazy suggestion. And I'm going to move the V4 to the column. And that way I don't have to do special, man, look at that. Look at that. Okay. Okay, let me
I haven't
properly
used
yank this
Bootstrap in so many years. It's changed a lot since I last used it.
Yeah.
I'm just going with the
So
flow.
let me paste this here.
Oh, Mohammed spotted something as well, saying "and the key too." Good spot, Mohammed. Great team effort.
Great.
Loving that.
Oh yeah, the key too. Okay, let me just.
I'm going to abbreviate "People Drive Me Crazy's" name just to people. So I've got people, Jared. Who else agreed?
Okay.
Loads of other people agreed. So thank you all.
All right, let's see how this looks. Sweet. Yes. That's good.
Looking good.
So Bootstrap handles that for us. That's good.
Definitely too many Eddies, as someone already said in the chat.
Eddie. Is Eddie a common name? I don't know.
Not really. Probably more Edward.
Okay. Oh, Edward. Edward Scissorhand, one of my favorite movies. Okay, what was I doing? Oh yeah. So for the card, we're looping through. That's all working. We're displaying some kind of data, not exactly what we want. But before I break this up into another component, I want to actually get all of the live user data. And so I'm going to import this users.json file, and I'm actually going to move it inside of the source directory first to make it easy to grab. So I'm going to move it in there. Now, usually when I'm working in an application, I'll make a data directory if I have JSON files or something. But here I just have this one JSON file, so I'm just going to import it. Okay, so I'm going to import that JSON file directly in home first. So I'm going to say import, what should I call this? I guess I'll call it users from, it's up to direct, actually, so Vue sets up a shorthand syntax if I create an app with cool. With the Vue CLI. So I get @ and @ references the source directory. So Yeah, I like Vuetify too, but unfortunately it won't be updated with Vue 3 until Q1 of next year, as they have publicly announced. So I am going to have to find another alternative to Vuetify for now, and probably wait to update a lot of my repos. So let's see, I'm in source, and now I need to reference users.json, so I can do /users.json. Okay, so now I have my JSON imported, and it says I have a problem. Users is defined but never used. Yeah, because I just imported it. So, man, it's like on top of things this linter. Okay, so let's
Oh,
see.
did not mean to follow you side by side. And to follow you on
So I
screen.
need to do JSON.parse. So here, instead of 1234, I'm going to delete that. And I'm not waiting for anything. I already have access to the whole file, so I'm just going to do it directly in my data. And I think I need to do JSON.parse, which users. Okay. Let's you can get rid of the users array. Oh, I think he was talking about the old array we had. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, the chat's a little bit
So
slow today on YouTube, unfortunately.
what's
Unexpected
the
token.
error?
Oh, it doesn't like the JSON. What's wrong with the JSON? Oh, because isn't it already JSON though? Because it's coming in as a JSON file. Doesn't it do its own magic?
Yeah, let me see. Let me see if it's better to just get rid of the JSON.parse. Can you try it out again?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, that didn't
I
work. Wait
thought
a
it,
second. Ah, is it
okay,
because
good. What?
why we're looping over users? Why is there 4 of me still?
Well, how many are there here? One, two,
Oh yes,
three, four, five.
Was there 5? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, 5. Okay, so it has looped over correctly. No, it has
Yeah.
worked.
Okay. And now, okay, we have to figure out, because for each user, we need to make an API call to grab the user information, um, which it would be nice if we could just make one API call and grab all of the users.
GitHub
But
doesn't support that, I
unfortunately,
don't think so.
yeah, unfortunately, we can't do that. So,
We could do a
um,
promise all though, and if you want to make it more efficient later on, I don't think we need to worry about that now. But you could do a promise all.
okay. So I think, let's see, how do we want to handle this? Yeah, because we're not getting a regular /users API here. Um, let's see. Yeah, I think just to like dummy this up, if we did, let's see, would a promise to all? Yeah, because we're gonna have to get all 5 users anyway. So, um, do you think you could make this into a promise to all? And I'm gonna go off screen for just 1 second.
Yeah, no worries. I'll see what I can break while you're gone. I should probably commit this. No, I'm joking. You go. I'll have a play. I've got the audience and everyone watching to help. So let's have a look.
I'll be
So
back in 1 minute.
do a for each on user. Everyone watching, hope you're checking what I'm doing and making sure that I don't break too much. So if we do that and we do it without an await, should work, right? And then a for each rule, for each doesn't return, does it? I want it to return. Maybe I do want a for each because it'll be faster. It runs asynchronously. And then I guess I could push it. So I could say, I don't know, let requests equal an empty array. I haven't really thought about this. I'm kind of not thinking ahead. So I could do requests dot push and then push that on, right? That would work. Got the right amount of brackets? No, one more bracket. And then in here, if I change this to, let's have a look. So what have we got? This dot users. So I could go user dot username. Is that going to work? Sounds about right. And then rather than await, I could do, I don't know, such a long time. I think I do a let, I don't know, data. Are we using data anywhere or not? Data equals new Oh, it's just promise.all, right? I don't need new, I think. Promise.all requests. And then if I put an await on that, how does that look to everyone? What do you think? Lines 34 is missing this. Ah, yes, thank you. Gotta get used to that view stuff. Okay, so how would that work? Let's have a look.
So, users.for each.
I thought for each because it'd be async rather than a map, and then I'm pushing it onto the requests array, and then I'm gonna await a promise all of all the requests. But then I'm just down to this bit here now, so I haven't really done this bit. So we'll then have to do a loop again on the
So.
to do that to solve that. So then we would do something like, should I overwrite users or create something new? Would I go this users and then do a map user, and then I could do,
Yeah, I think that's good.
so we don't need this, but then
But I think,
would that
yeah,
work?
you'll have to set users.
Oh yes, and then this dot users
Returning an
equals,
array.
and then will I need to put an async here as well, or no? I can't remember.
I believe so, right? Yeah, because we needed it. You need it for the await syntax, so you'll need to put async.
I have a
Oh no,
problem.
80 problems.
Request is never reassigned. Oh, that's true. That could be a
Okay.
const.
Some of these are semicolons.
I miss semicolons. No way. Oh, it doesn't want me to use them. Is that what it's saying?
No.
Extra semicolon.
Yeah.
I like semicolons.
Okay, now there's only 3 problems.
Oh, only 3. What are you trying to say? You go away for a few minutes and I break it. Is that what you're trying to say? Data is never reassigned. Okay, that's right. So that could be a const. Res is not defined. Res.
Oh, data is never used, it says.
Oh yeah, why is data never used? It should be used. Oh, this would need to change.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Okay, how's that? 1 error. Res.
Still 1 error?
Oh yes, it's saying res. It should be user. I bet you everyone's already said this in the chat and I've just missed it. Let's have a look.
I don't see any chat messages yet, but maybe
okay, good. Hopefully I was on top of it.
Okay.
Is this a new error or an old error? Okay, that was an old error. Okay, so I've busted some stuff. The loop still works.
This is still good though.
Okay.
We're not populating user anymore, so I'm going to get rid of that. Oh yeah, it's going to complain. Okay. And now we can rename you to user.
Okay, got you. And then this can be, can we use the object for the key or should it be user.username so we know it's something unique?
Yeah, username is unique. It just has to be unique. So
okay.
User.username is good. Okay. Something. Oh yeah, we haven't displayed anything yet, have we?
No, we should do from before, right? We've still got user.name, for example, and that's user in users.
So
it must be one of the.
Someone's saying we're not using async correctly.
Where have we missed it?
So we're awaiting promise.all. We're doing. Oh, do we need to do async await? Oh, use promise.all on the return of map instead of using async await on line 36.
Our line numbers have changed slightly, I think.
Okay, maybe it means line 35. Yeah. Okay. So instead of using async await here, he says to wrap this in promise.all. But then we have to, this is a different set of promises, so we still have to use promise.all on this as well.
Yeah, but then we don't need...
so maybe I think we do need promise.all on this, don't we?
In theory, both should work, right? Promise.all would do it in parallel, and then async would do it one at a time. In theory, it should work, but we can change it if.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, maybe it's not what's breaking our code, but it's better, probably.
um,
Okay.
but then there should be a really I was say
Yeah,
for each.
I think we do need to await fetch. Yeah, I think that's what's missing.
What, the
Do you
await
see?
fetch? I
Yeah,
don't
we're
think
not awaiting fetch.
but we shouldn't
We
need
were
to,
before.
right? Because I don't want to await it. I want it to just add it to requests, and then request
Oh
will
yeah,
get
because
all
we have
from
an
restore.
array of promises, and then this will resolve all the promises. Let's see.
Oh,
Unexpected token U.
have I got a bracket? No, missing a bracket.
Oh, okay. There you go.
I don't know if that's going to make a difference. Oh, it did work. Okay, so
Oh, sweet.
yes,
Okay.
awesome. Great team effort. Thank you, everyone. That's awesome. So we have got more people.
Oh, sweet.
Look, each one's got their own name, their own description. That's coming from GitHub's API. Perfect.
Yeah. Okay, cool. All right. So we haven't used so many different things yet. We haven't used methods, watchers, props. I think,
Okay.
and then also it would be nice if you clicked on a person, if something would pop up, or you navigated to another page. I feel like we just like scratched the surface of Vue, and it's already been an hour and a half. But yeah, can we keep going for a few more minutes?
Let's keep going. I'm really excited. You mentioned some exciting terms there that I haven't used before. So yeah, let's. If you're good to keep going, I'm good to keep going. I think everyone watching, are you all keen to keep going? Let's dig deeper. So what shall we do next? We wanted to. I think you were talking about moving it to its own component, and I think you were also
Yeah.
talking about. You mentioned some proppy things. I'm guessing that's a React View term. And yeah, let's dig in and see.
Okay. So I've officially deleted that hello world component. Um,
And while you're
now
doing
let me make.
that, oh sorry, while you're doing that, I was just going to say, Jared, put your GitHub username in the chat, and I'll add you to the users list so you can come up on the screen as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Jared is he's another Vue developer who runs a Vue community, and yeah, we work on a lot of Vue stuff. So oh yeah, I forgot what I was doing for a second. So here, user in users, I'm going to move all of that over to a new component. And I guess I'll just call the component like user card. By the way, the convention that I use is usually capital. You don't have to call these, anything that you want. You can use any style of naming that you want. But generally for standard Vue applications, I just capitalize all my components. I can't even remember what that's called when you use capital. What kind of, there's kebab case and camel case and all those things. I can't remember what kind of case it's called when it starts with capital. But anyway, you know what
I
I'm talking
forget
about.
too.
Maybe someone in the chat knows. Pascal case, that was it. Pascal case. Okay, so now I'm gonna do, let's see.
I mean, roles we're not
All right.
using, Jared, but I'm going to delete them out just to see if we do use them, it makes a difference.
So I'm gonna copy this whole thing here.
Wait 1 second, let me follow you again. 1 sec. Follow.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, carry on. Sorry.
Oh, you were putting Jared in there. Do you want to finish what you were doing?
I finished it. I've done it. So next time we look at the
cool.
web page, we will have Jared as well.
So he can look at himself. Okay. User card. Let me put this in here. And I'm going to get rid of the v-for loop in 1 second. Oh, I think
Yes, because we'll probably want the loop. The card should be one person. Is that you're going to be your thinking? So the card should be kind of one item.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we'll have to pass in user. See how we're doing user dot. We need that variable available in this component. And I don't know why this is indenting by 4 spaces and the other components by 2. But that's okay. So in this component, we need to define the user variable. So we have to pass it into this component, and then we also have to accept it in this component. So we accept it in the child component by setting it as a prop by defining it. So I'm going to create a props object here and say that we are expecting a user variable. And this user variable is going to be of type object, and it's going to be required. Okay, you don't have to set the type necessarily. This is just something I like to do. If I'm passing around data in the application, I think it's better.
You're going to love TypeScript. If you like that sort of stuff, you will love TypeScript.
Oh, I've used TypeScript before.
Oh, okay, but you don't like it.
It wasn't my favorite, but I will try it again. So Vue had okay support for TypeScript in version 2. Now it has great support for TypeScript.
Okay.
So if you're going to use TypeScript in Vue, I would definitely go with Vue 3 now that it's been rebuilt in TypeScript and has a new API that works better with TypeScript, with the functional composition API. So, okay, so now we have the whole card here. We are accepting a user prop, a user object that we're going to pass in. So now we have to import that component we just created. So I'm going to import it at the top here, and I'll import user card from, I always like to start with the @ syntax and not do relative imports. That way all of my imports are the same across my whole application. So now I can import it from /components /usercard.view. And now I need to define it as a component so I can have access to it in my template. So I import it as user card. So I define it on my component object, and I think it's just complaining about me not using it yet. So I'm about to use it. So now
yes. It's registered but never used. I have a question. Do I remember correctly? And I don't think Debbie's here anymore, but in Nux, did it automatically do the auto import? As in we didn't have to specify. Do you know?
If we
had to import it, I have a feeling, I could be wrong here, in Nux.js we didn't need to do stuff like that. I could be wrong. I wasn't sure if you knew.
Yeah, Nux just does a lot of things under the hood for you, like handling routing and a whole bunch of other stuff. But in general, in Vue, you do import it, you define it as a component, and then you use it in your template. But okay, so a couple more steps here. So I have it in my component here. Now I need to loop through this because I want to display a bunch of these user cards just like I did before. So I'm actually going to move the key and the v-for loop and put them on the card now. And then get rid of this whole card that I have here. So now it should show the exact same way, except one thing I'm missing. Let me just clean this up a little bit, actually.
So, and you got, for the record, you got 8 errors as well. I know I got 8 lint errors last time, but you got 8 as well.
Yeah, I'm working on that. Okay, so now I'm looping through. I have the key. Now I need to pass in, because this card is expecting me to pass it a user object. Okay. So Vue can very simply pass data around to child components via the same vbind syntax, and you can pass in props. So I want to pass in the user from here to each user card. I want to pass in the user. So I can say user equals user. And then basically this part on the left hand is what it's going to be called in my child component. And then this here is the variable from the parent component user. So I'm defining that here. Yeah, so now I'm looping through the user cards. So what, now that I'm importing that card, it's complaining about my indentation here. I don't know, is there an easy way? Let me change this.
Yeah, I can, which one was it? User card, this one. Can I right click and go format?
Oh, can you right click and say format?
Let's see, will it break it? It's going to do something. There are multiple formatters. Do you want to configure? Oh, great. Which one? I don't know if we're using either of those, are we?
I use Viter. I don't know what you use.
It
Viter
depends on the
is a
project.
special VS Code plugin for Vue.
Got you.
So I
Okay.
think you should get it if you're going to start being a Vue developer anyway.
Well, it looks better. It seems to have indented it correctly. So that's a yeah,
Yeah,
a
I
plus.
think.
Four
Oh,
errors.
now it's.
Trailing comma.
Oh, I do have a trailing comma here.
Oh, we do
Oops.
that in TypeScript loads as well, which I do like. Okay, let's
Okay.
have a look.
One
One
extra
error.
semi. What's
Line
semicolon? Oh, here.
22.
Okay. There we
Yay!
go.
Okay, cool. It's not just me then.
Yeah,
So
we need to work on Vue setup after. Yeah, I did. I did at the bottom, Jared. I changed it to two spaces. But what we need here is the VS Code setup, like a VS Code folder with the settings file to make all new files two spaces. Okay, can you try this in the browser?
it's worked. I can see, yeah,
There's
Jared's appeared. Nice cat. Six
yeah.
people now. Awesome.
Okay, cool.
And so what you
Yeah, and
did is
that's
you moved it to a component. Nice.
yeah. Um, yeah, so it's been almost 2 hours. I really wanted to get into a few more things. I guess,
Maybe we
um,
should do a. Are you still okay to keep going? We can always do a part two.
yeah, I think because I have a meeting at 3. So actually our free coding school program that Jared helps run. So
Oh,
we kind
awesome.
of work together with another third person and we all run this free coding school together. So I'm spending like 3 hours today meeting with students trying to help uh, tutor them, help them. A lot of it's encouraging them to keep going even though they're struggling. And they're at those beginning stages of the throes of the struggle of becoming a developer.
Got
Like, why
you.
is everything always erroring?
Yeah.
Getting used to
I think
all
it's just
that
normal,
stuff.
right? Everyone's seen that on our stream today. That it happens to all of us. Um,
Yeah. Oh,
okay,
there's so much cool stuff in Vue, and we just scratched the surface
let's
today.
let's do
We
let's do part two.
Okay, let's do a part 2 stream. Um,
I'm
where,
flexible, whatever you prefer. Maybe 2 hours is quite a long time, though. So I think we should probably do a part two where we could dig into more details.
yeah, let's do another 2-hour stream. Maybe sometime next week we'll be able to do it.
Sounds good.
Yeah, we will talk after and
We'll
announce.
arrange it. Yeah, watch the space. I just shared Gwen's YouTube channel in the chat as well. Do subscribe to her channel. Give the video a thumbs up, and we will plan a part two where Gwen can take us through some more awesome Vue features. I've seen someone has written about Vuex. I'm really interested to see Vuex as well. So I'm quite keen at how we can maybe cache some of the data of the API request because there is a rate limit to using GitHub's API publicly when you're
I
not
think
using a
that
token. So
I think that's version 3 maybe. Or stream 3,
what
part
was
3. Yeah.
what was part three? Sorry.
Oh, you're talking about caching already, and we haven't even started with Vuex. So,
I'm getting a bit excited.
uh,
Okay, we'll do part two and we'll do part three then
yeah,
when
we need
Gwen
to make
has
a project
time.
for this
I will push
with
this code
everything.
up into the repo into a branch so we can continue next time. And
Okay.
yes, we will do that.
Can you post it? Can you push it now, do you think? Or
I was just going to promote it up one directory before I pushed it, so I'll share the link to the repo and then I will push
oh,
it shortly afterwards. Um,
oh, thanks for joining, Connor. I can't believe you made it through the whole thing.
yeah, yeah,
That's
thanks.
good.
I really appreciate everyone's help and support on this. I think it has been great fun. I'm just going to show Gwen's not hashtag handle, so you can just follow her on Twitter as well as her YouTube channel. But Gwen, thank you
Yeah.
so much for taking us through this, and it was just really, really interesting, and it really ties into Debbie's stream last week, and I'm really excited to see this start fitting together. And part two sounds really exciting because, yeah, we can dig more into Vuex and see some of the cool stuff. I think there's a question right at the beginning, which you said is more advanced, and look forward to hearing some more of those things. So thank you so much again for taking the time, 2 hours on my channel to talk about this.
It just went by. It went by like nothing.
I look forward to
Yeah.
part 2. Hopefully next week we'll chat afterwards. I'll let you go to your meeting and we'll chat afterwards and arrange it for next week. And we'll have a part 2.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Everyone, I think we should say our byes. Anything you'd like to add, Gwen, before we say bye to everyone?
Oh, I'm excited for the future. Maybe it goes to part 2, part 3, part 4, but this was a really fun stream. So thanks.
Awesome, thank you. All right, everyone, don't forget to subscribe to Gwen's channel. I just posted it literally a few minutes ago. And yeah, see some more Python, Django, and Vue streams and videos that she does as well. So Gwen, if you hold on for 2 more minutes, I'm just going to bring up the holding page, stop the stream, and I'll just say thanks again to you personally. Okay, bye everyone. Thank you for joining.